created to have some fun together, sharing and singing. So, join and enjoy.
Our love for opera brings us together. Thanks for being with us in this trip.
And so, dear everybody, today we are celebrating. What is it that we are celebrating? I would like to celebrate with you all that as of July 2023, there are 56 countries, territories that are currently listening to this podcast. I really would like to show my appreciation for this. And what better way to celebrate this that with one of the most splendid and hilarious operettas ever written. I am, of course, talking about Die Fledermaus by Johann Strauss II. Of course, you may not be very familiar with that name. That name, of course, is the name in German. This is written in German. Maestro Johann Strauss II wrote it, a master in writing operettas. And of course, before we start that conversation or that discussion, oh, well, operettas are thought to be second, minor gender productions, compositions. We are not stopping there. From my perspective, or it has happened to me in the past many times, and I hope it has happened to you as well. There are these compositions that bring life, that bring light to our lives, and for me, this is the case of the Fledermaus. Usually translated into English as the Bat. Of course, if you agree with me, the operetta The Bat sounds horrible. Some people, because of that reason, call it The Revenge of the Bat, which still seems horrible, even though the name The Revenge of the Bat makes more sense on what the libretto is about. But again, before we jump into talking about a little more on the libretto, I would like to start throughout today's program. I will be sharing with you the names of the 56 countries, territories that are currently listening to the podcast. And so with that, and with my deepest appreciation, thank you very much, people in the United States, people in the United Kingdom, thank you very much. I live and I am Mexican, so Mexico has joined recently. In fact, this is one of the latest countries to join. Provided that this podcast is in English, Spanish is the native language for the country. So it is interesting to see that people in Mexico are now listening to this podcast. We are also willing to refer to Canada. Thank you very much to the people in that very beautiful country, to which I have some particular liaisons. Thank you very much, people in Canada. People en la France, je vous remercie pour nous écouter. Thank you, people in la France. The Netherlands, thank you very much as well. Spain also is another country that joined recently. Again, thank you very much, people from the other country that gave birth to what we call now Mexico. Thank you, people in Spain. Thank you, people in Germany. I am also very surprised to see that you are receiving this podcast with this warmth. Thank you, people. I have had the chance of working with people, with Germans, with people from Germany several times in the past, and I would like to show my deepest appreciations because people in Germany they really know what hard working is about. And of course, in this first block, thank you very much, people in Brazil. Brazil also very surprised. I'm very happy to see that now people in Brazil are listening to our podcast. And before I forget, I would like, because I've been very curious for the past 2 months. Not that I hadn't been curious in the past, but now I am more curious than I was in the previous months. I am very curious to hear from you, and I know that for the moments or the series that Katia was with us, We really did it. I still don't have the time. We didn't have the time in the past, and I don't have the time now to do a follow up in social networks. So, what I would like to provide to you, if you feel like writing a note to me or to Katia, I am still in contact with Katia. She's very busy now. That's the reason why she hasn't been able to join us. But I can still talk to her and share with you any note, any comment that you would be willing to send us. And for that purpose, I would like to share with you an email to which you can write your messages. If you would like to write to me, to Katia, or to us, the email is very easy. It's very long, but it's very easy. Opera We Love Singing. Everything in one word. Opera We Love Singing at gmail.com. If you would like to send us that note, we would really like to hear from you. What country are you listening to us? What is it that has moved you in music? I would really like to know what music, what opera means to you. From my side, I have tried to share with you all those deepest emotions, that beautiful melodies, that tragedies that the characters are suffering, that special color that composers have provided to each of those heroes and heroines in our most beloved operas. That's what I have tried to share with you, but now it is even more important that you share with us what music means to you. Opera We Love Singing at gmail.com. Thank you very much if you would like to share us or send us a note. Going back to Die Fledermaus, the bat, or the revenge of the bat. What is it that we love from the bat, or the revenge of the bat? First, we need to talk about the overture. The overture is one of the most hilarious and entertaining compositions ever written. It has the quality of putting you into the right mood. And with those melodies that we will listen later throughout the operetta, we understand that something is funny, very funny, is going to be happening on stage. Right after that very wonderful, very attractive overture, we will land on the first act. And I would like to mention what I have mentioned previously in other programs. We are very aware that consummate opera singers do not want to build a career over the minor or the so-called minor genders, such as the operetta or the zarzuela. Opera singers like to prove themselves on the opera, but that doesn't mean, even though vocally one can really witness, one can testify that operetta can be easier to sing from a vocal capacities point of view, it is not from the maximum acting qualities that it takes from a singer. Take the best voice from a lousy actor or actress, and you're not going to get away with it. The bat, the Fledermaus, the revenge of the bat, really takes more than great voices, demands great actors. And that's what we are going to need for the roles of Gabriel von Eichenstein. That is usually a tenor, but more likely to be a baritone. There is also the role of Rosalinde, which is Eichenstein's wife, usually a soprano. More the times a heavy lyric soprano. We will talk about it a little later. That's who Rosalinde is going to be. The other primary role is going to be Adele, because Adele, who is the Rosalinde's maid, is usually taken by a coloratura soprano. We will also talk a little more about it, but Adele is very important in this plot. We will have other mm, let's say, less important roles as Ida, that is Adele's sister, Alfred. People like to mention Alfred as Alfredo in La Traviata, who is a tenor and is a singer and happens to be the lover of Rosalinda. We will also have Dr. Falke, a notary, a baritone. We will have Dr. Blind, a lawyer, tenor, Frank, the prison governor. We will have, of course, Prince of Orlovsky, a Russian prince. Usually sung by a mezzo, which it means is a travestito role, which we have talked about in the past. That's going to be Prince of Orlovsky. We will have Ivan, the princess valet. We will also have Frosh, the jailer, which is a super funny role. We will also talk a little more about it. Moving ahead. Now that we have described all the roles and that we have shared that really not the best operatic voices go for the operetta, but the best actors with good voices usually go for it. What is the plot in the first act? Well, I'm not going to give you all the details because it is a comedia de enredos. It is a complicated plot, and but the most important thing that I would like to mention is that the Fledermaus, the bat, after that wonderful overture, right after that, as we learned on the first act, we're about to learn that Gabriel von Eisenstein is going to be taken to prison. So the notary and the lawyer and the prison governor will play a very important role because Mr. Eisenstein is going to be taken away from home, to be taken to jail for a minor fault, which means that Rosalinda is going to be left alone at home, and that's when the tenor is going to appear, the Alfred I told you about a little earlier. Of course, nobody knows that Rosalinda has a lover. Adele might find out. Adele, you remember Rosalinda's maid. And she will be invited to a party because behind everything is a vengeance that Falke has devised. He has decided that he will take revenge on something that Mr. Eisenstein did in the past. And for that, he's going to build a fake party at Princess Orlovsky's castle. He's going to invite everybody in a disguised way. He's going to be inviting Adele, who will lie to Rosalinde so that she has permission to leave the house that day. Rosalinda will be invited directly just to discover that her husband is not going to be in prison. Alfred, the poor tenor, is going to be taken to prison in the last act. But before he's taken to prison, I would like to mention that one of the funniest things about the Fledermaus is that it is one of the operettas that is usually translated into the language that is spoken in the country it is sung. So as for the case of Mexico, I have had the chance of watching it 2 times. Of course, dialogues in Spanish. Everything is in Spanish except for the arias or the songs. I have seen also a couple of representations in the UK and in the US. Again, all the dialogues in English and one of them even with the arias in English to make it more comprehensive to the people attending. But the important part is not that this is being translated. The important part is that this is being customized to jokes that make sense in the country this is being performed on stage. So with very local, very customized jokes around Mexican idiosyncrasy, this has been one, or these two have been of the two most hilarious and funniest moments when people cannot stop laughing at the jokes that singers are saying on stage. One of the on the first act, depending on the director and on what is being agreed on the performance, usually Alfred sings parts of La Traviata by Giuseppe Verdi. So he would go ahead and sing Alfredo's like di quell'amor che palpito by the window, per la finestra, by the window or by the balcony of Rosalinda. And Rosalinda might reply, no, no, please, Traviata, no. And if you're familiar with opera, you would immediately laugh at it because, Alfred, the role of the tenor is in fact Alfredo, the role sung in La Traviata, and Rosalinda would reply in the sense that she please not try to convince me you sing La Traviata. And later on stage, the tenor would sing something from Rigoletto like La donna è mobile, qual piuma al vento. Or later he would sing something from Turandot like Nessun dorma, nessun dorma. So he would go ahead and sing almost anything to try to convince or to try to make a funny reference to his actual role on stage. And Rosalinda would have a very hard time trying to resist to the tenor's approaches. That's basically what is going to happen on the first act. And before we jump to the second act, let's go for the second round of thanking countries, territories listening to us. Deepest appreciation to the one of the most incredible countries in the world, Australia, of course. People in Italy, you cannot believe how touched I am by being heard by people in Italy. Italy that has given us most of the greatest opera composers, most of the greatest singers ever on the history of opera from Italy. Thank you very much. India, one of the most important economies nowadays, one of the most interesting cultures. Thank you very much. People in Sweden, my deepest appreciations. I have also had a chance of working with people from Sweden. I even admire some Swedish bikers, mountain bikers. Thank you very much, people in Sweden. Thailand, a paradise on earth. Thank you very much. Argentina, I really cannot believe that people in Argentina are also listening to us. Thank you very much. Don't cry for me, Argentina. And many, many other melodies that Argentina has brought us to the history of music. People in Norway, of course. Another paradise on earth. Very different to Thailand, of course, but Norway, who has not ever dreamt of traveling to Norway? What can you say now about Malaysia? Thank you very much. There is a number of countries and people in Asia that have also joined to our listeners. Thank you very much. And with that, we have the country of the rising sun. Thank you very much to people in Japan. And this brings us to now Hong Kong. Thank you very much also to one of the most interesting cultures that is Hong Kong. Thank you very much. And inviting you again to write us an email sharing with us what is it that you love or what is it that music makes you feel. Write to us at operawheelofsinging@gmail.com. If you have any other special email that you would like to send directly to Katia, you can also do that. I will be passing the message. And now moving on with the second act from the Fledermaus, the Bat, or the Revenge of the Bat. Here is where we have the three key solos by performers. We have Prince Orlovsky's arietta or song Shakan Asungu. I was telling you earlier that the role of Prince Orlovsky is a mezzo-soprano, a travestito role, so we would hear it usually from a mezzo. And this is very important because remember that this second act is happening actually in Prince Orlovsky's castle. So people are invited to a party there and he will be hosting it, but he's hosting it in complicity with Dr. Falke, as he's going to help him get his revenge. So Prince Orlovsky is playing his part as well. And that is very important to say, because even though he knows that he has invited such a crowd of people that of course are not part of la bourgeoisie or la royauté du pays, even though he knows that he's still playing his role because he wants to help his friend. And for that purpose, as people start arriving, the characters that I mentioned, we will be watching Gabriel von Eisenstein disguised as a I am laughing because I really recall the many times that I have seen, and when you have a Gabriel that is performed as it has to do by a baritone, it really makes you laugh. It really has to be a very charismatic baritone. So Gabriel disguised, Rosalind disguised, Adele disguised, Ida disguised. Alfred is not attending. Remember that he has been taken to jail as he has been mistaken by Gabriel von Eisenstein. So he's in jail already, but Dr. Falk is going to be there. Frank, the prison governor, is there. Prince Orlovsky himself is there. So we have everybody in the party and everybody is disguised. So Prince Orlovsky is going to sing his Shakan Asungu. Everybody, you can do as you please. Everybody is going to do as he pleases. Shakan Asungu. We are going to have also one of the most hilarious arias for a coloratura soprano that have ever been written. Of course, I am talking about Adele's aria that is called, or that the name, remember that we people like to give names to the arias, but when you read the actual scores, you will notice that they never have a name. It is just a convention. So in that convention, the Adele's aria is Mein Herr Marquis. My dear Marquis. Mein Herr Marquis. Ta-da-da-da-dee, ta-da-da-da-dee-dee-don, ta-da-da-da-dan, ta-da-da-dan-dan-dan, ta-da-da-da-da-da-dan, ta-dan-tan-tan-tan-tan-tan-tan, ta-da-da-da-dan, ta-dan-tan-tan-tan-tan-tan-tan, ta-da-da-da-dan. And this is also called the laughing song. Personally, I don't like that name. The laughing, I mean, reducing everything to just the laugh, because of course there is a laugh there. Between the two repetitions, the soprano likes, or well, she is expected to laugh. Ha ha ha, ta da da ha ha ha, ta da da ha ha ha, ta da 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 ha ha ha. Because the choir is going to join her in that laughing, and that is why it's usually called the laughing song. I insist, I don't like that name. I prefer to adhere to the Mein Herr Marquis. And this is going to be a reply to, because she's about to be discovered. Because Gabriel says, that laugh, that looks, don't try to fool me, that is Adele. And since he's about to discover that he's Adele, that's why Adele herself jumps in and sings this Mein Herr Marquis. Gabriel Einstein is pretending to be a French marquise, so she's replying to him, no, 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 no. How can you pretend that I can be a servant with these beautiful looks, with this beautiful figure, with this beautiful face? I am not that. That is what the laughing song is about, and that is what Adele gives to us. Of course, being so full of many ornaments, that if you want to listen to a good version of this, you have to listen to Katya's herself. She joined us in the series of videos in YouTube, the 50 music postcards, and she sang for us this aria, the Mein Herr Marquis. We even have the recording of the on how she worked on that piece. I really invite you to look for that video on YouTube, the 50 music postcards, and look for Mein Herr Marquis in Die Fledermaus, and you will be able to appreciate not only the singing but also in the following video how it was built. That would be my invitation. And before we jump to what is going to happen then with the Kshardas, let's go back to thanking people. And now it's time to thank people in the Russian Federation. Thank you very much, people in La Rosia. Thank you very much. Going back and still keeping ourselves in Asia, the Philippines. Have mentioned in the past that the Philippines and Mexico happen to have shared during the times of the Spanish conquest. The Philippines and Mexico were under the same crown. In fact, there are many people in the Philippines that have names that can be similar to what we have in Mexico. We have Turkey that is repeated. The first time it is Turkey is in the original Turkish language. Thank you very much, people in Turkey. Also one of the most interesting cultures and one of the most important countries that have played a key role. And of course, the country where one of the most amazing sopranos, Leila Gencer, was born. Thank you very much. People in St. Kitts, thank you very much. St. Kitts and Nevis, thank you very much. Indonesia, what else can we say about Indonesia? I have been watching recently a good number of videos on Indonesia. Amazing country, of course. We also, and to our surprise, not only countries in Asia have added to our listeners, we also have South Africa. Thank you very much to the country that has given so much to the world. Thank you very much to South Africa. Also, one of the most advanced countries in the world. We are talking about Singapore. People in Singapore, my deepest admiration for what you have achieved. Slovakia, of course, people in Slovakia, you won't believe how surprised I was to see that when I noticed that people in Slovakia are already listening as well. Thank you very much. People in Portugal, thank you as well. How come that people who speak Portuguese are also listening to our country? My deepest appreciation for that. Going back to our to the very great continent of Africa, we also have Nigeria. We all know what countries in Africa have suffered, and we know how much we love and we would like to see them progress. Thank you very much, people in Nigeria, for sharing with us this sincere and deep love for music. Going back to the plot, and as we said, Rosalinde herself has disguised as an Hungarian princess. And of course, she's about to be discovered also to be a disguised role. And now she's going to prove that she's from Hungary. She's going to be, and Hungary is going to be the next block of appreciations. So Hungary, she's going to sing the traditional Csárdas from Hungary. Unfortunately, most of the times, as the opera is written in German, the Csárdas are sung in German. So if you have had the chance of listening to the version of this Shardas sung in Hungarian by John Sutherland, please go and look for those. I was telling you before that the role of Rosalinda is to be for a heavier lyric soprano, and this is why the Shardas are difficult to sing. They demand a powerful center of the voice. Of course, there are words in it, but the melody is something like that. And there is a much faster part that comes after this, let's say, introductory part. Dun, 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 dun. That will come right after those that initial part that I was telling you about. And the soprano needs to make it in a very attractive way to capture the attention of people, and even, if you allow me, maybe to make people, if not actually dancing, at least moving their feet to the rhythm of these Shardas. As we have finished with the Shardas, we have listened to Mein Herr Marquis, and we have listened to Shakana Songut by Prince Orlovsky. I also have to mention you that there are a couple of choirs that I also, those assemblies that I really like a lot, because that puts the mood of all the performers on stage together, and there are melodies, and it has been translated into English in a very successful way. Dance, 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 la 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 la, and it keeps going. And on and on and on. Really, that second act is marvelous, and I will tell you a little more about what usually happens in that second act, but let me go back, because we're running out of time. Let me go back to thanking people in Austria. Thank you very much. Austria, that was for a good number of years one of the most important cultures of the previous centuries. I am also very moved to notice that people in Lithuania are already listening to us. Going back to Turkey, I already mentioned Hungary. Thank you very much. If you are familiar with the history of Europe, you know what Hungary has meant to Europe. We have Belgium, people in Belgium. Why do people in Belgium are so lovely? I really ask myself. The Pakistan, people in Pakistan, thank you very much. I know people from Pakistan. I am so surprised and moved to know that you are now listening to this podcast. People in Myanmar, of course, another paradise on earth. Thank you very much. People in Poland have been watching some very interesting series from Poland. Thank you very much. People in Kenya, again, from the great continent that is Africa, and Vietnam. What else can we also say about Vietnam? People always know that one of the most important cultures for us, Asia, has also been in the lands that we now call the Vietnam. I will move a little more ahead. As I was telling you, we're running out of time. And I would also like to thank people in Colombia. People in Colombia, so nice. In the Taiwan people, thank you very much. In Asia again, Taiwan, Ireland. I do love Irish people. People from Ireland, you are so great. And also, to my surprise, people in Kuwait. People in Kuwait listening, thank you very much. People in South Korea, also one of the most important countries. Moreover, if you think of technology, thank you, people in Korea, people in Guam. When we started this project, I really never thought that this would be heard in countries so far, so unique, such as Guam. What can we say? We are now also being heard in Croatia. Croatia, thank you very much as well. Reunion, Morocco, and the Dominican Republic. Sorry for not giving you enough time for sharing your names because, time is killing us now. Going back to the final act of Die Fledermaus, everybody's been taken to prison, and this is where things are going to be clarified. The tenor will keep singing, and there is usually a very interesting monologue. This monologue, I have seen representation in England. Of course, I am talking about the Covent Garden. In Covent Garden, that monologue by Frosh is one of the most hilarious monologues I have ever heard. Frosh is unique if played by the right comedian in the third act. And I was skipping to tell you that what happens also in the second act, because this is a party, is that there is usually added a ballet, or as it is the case, if you have the opportunity of watching it, one of the last performances by Dame Joan Sutherland was in this Die Fledermaus. You can look for that recording. It is available on DVD and on streaming services. Look for Joan Sutherland accompanied by Luciano Pavarotti and Marilyn Horne. They play in the second act this sort of intermission. They are invited. They are guests in the party of Prince Orlovsky, and so each of them sings a couple of arias and duets. It is splendid. To have this level of singers in Die Fledermaus is just so out of this world. If you have the opportunity, go and look for it. And moreover, enjoy Die Fledermaus. Going back to my last lot of thanking people, thank you very much in Brunei Darussalam. People in Ukraine, we love you so very much. People in Denmark, I have also had the chance of working with people from Denmark. They are so Danish, if you allow me the expression. People in Zimbabwe, again, thank you very much to people in Africa. Now, people in Peru also listening, thank you very much. The descendants of one of the greatest culture that were the Incas. Thank you very much, people in Peru, Armenia, of course, thank you. So surprised, so moved to learn that people in Armenia are listening. And one of the mother of the Occidental culture, Greece. Thank you very much to people in Greece listening to us. Again, if you would like to send us a note, share with us what is it that music means to you. Write us to operawillofsinging@gmail.com. With this very brief program and with this super positive mood that brings the Fledermaus to us, I wanted to share my really deepest appreciation to all of you, because what music, what art unites, the humans will never be able to tear apart. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you next time around. Thank you. Bye-bye.